Remember this story? France set to ban the words mother and father from official documents. Now, we have that going on in England. I have articles of this because it's intolerant to say mother and father. We have the Justice Department, this is on their own website, about how to be inclusive. It says, do not use the words like spouse. Use inclusive words like partner, significant other, or spouse rather than gender-specific terms like husband and wife. See, a gender is bad. It's bad if you're a male. It's bad if you're a female. For example, in invitations to office parties or when asking a new employee about his or home life. So again, this is how they phase this in. See, it's insensitive, which then they call hate speech. That's what it is. They're saying hate speech to say your husband or your wife. And again, it's sold as if it's being inclusive, but all it does is actually charge everyone up, obsessing over some type of identity where the fact that you're heterosexual is a bad thing. And that's actually what's taught in the universities, that all male and female sex is rape, that men are inherently bad, blah, blah, blah. This, and meanwhile, the government has got super militarized men, robots, drones, all of it to enforce. They just don't want you to be a man. And they want women to think it's cool if men are weak. It's like I was telling a pregnant woman, with her husband and some people on the hike and bike trail, I was saying, be careful of vaccines. You got a 17% reduction in women's IQ, 20-something in men. That's about a 20 average. The autism's way up in boys because they have a thinner blood-brain barrier. And the woman goes, that's because girls are better. And I went, listen, it's not about boys and girls. It's hurting people. But it's almost kind of like exciting. Like, you mean we're hurting men? We get ahead when we do that. Yeah, there it is. Washington State Gender-Neutral Vocabulary Law signed by Jay Inslee, the governor. See, we need to add all that to our article. People won't even believe this. That's Reuters. Let me have that article. I mean, it's like, and again, the people in identity politics, it's like a cult or something, where it's just that's all there is 24/7. We're going to go to break and start the next hour and get into the news and your phone calls. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. It's Open Line Friday. First-time callers, 800-259-9231 on any of the issues I've raised. A ton of other news, video clips, guests. It's all coming up. We've got some breaking stories on FEMA that we're working on right now and this whole gender thing. But 800-259-9231. They want to divide us between religion, sex, region, and then oh, saying you're heterosexual is hurtful. This is already done in Europe. We know the model here. Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, you name it. And the globalists have been going after gardening. They've been harassing people that have gardens in their front yards or their backyards. They've called for licenses for people to have gardens because you can't trust prisoners in the police state America to be able to grow their own food. That's why I've come to the realization that we need to become self-sufficient. You need to be informed. You need to have the Second Amendment to protect yourself. You need to be politically active to wake up others. You need to filter your water. But you also need to plant a garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can do this. If you live in the countryside, obviously you can do it on a grand scale. There are so many green belts and areas that humans don't even visit, nearby cities and in suburbs, where people are now more and more planting their own little private gardens and meadows and off the side of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live and to plant a garden.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com. The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest of times. The ARC All-in-One Seed Kit contains 70 varieties of 50,000 seeds of fruits, vegetables, medicinal, and culinary herbs. All ARC seeds are heirloom. Each type is labeled and sealed separately for ease of use and longevity. The Deluxe Emergency Seed Bank combines 3 of Emergency Seed Bank's top sellers: the Family Survival Emergency Seed Bank, the Medicinal Herb Seeds Pack, and the Culinary Herb Seeds Pack. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, and medicinal herbs and more. Go to the InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
A little seed can grow a huge tree that produces fruit for up to 50 years. We have the best life bombs. That's what these are. We have the best weapons against death out there at the lowest prices, waiting for you to lovingly plant them and lovingly grow them and lovingly eat them and share them with others. We will strike back against the New World Order, and this is only one more initiative in our fight against them. So please join us at InfoWarsShop.com, or you can link through at Infowars.com at the InfoWars Seed Center. All right, folks, here's the deal. We're going to have open phones in this hour, and I have got a ton of other news I haven't even gotten to. And we're going to be breaking in the next hour. You heard over in France where they're saying, don't use the term mother or father, or don't use the term husband or wife. Well, that's now going on in England and the U.S., and they're passing laws in different states doing it. And it's just, see, political correctness is meant to put you in a box and then make it smaller and smaller and smaller, where they say in the U.S. and Europe, you've seen it, we need to arrest people that don't believe in man-made global warming and who don't want to pay their carbon tax. Not agreeing with us, because every scientist agrees with us, which of course was a total hoax. Those scientists knew it was a fraud. Everyone agrees with us. You should be arrested. We're liberals. And when we drop bombs on countries, it's for peace. And you're like, no, you're not. You're a bunch of criminal control freaks trying to take over. So I'm going to be getting into that. Obamacare to cost a 146% rate hike in California. Well, what's wrong with that? The insurance companies wrote the bill, and they wrote it to absolutely rob the daylights out of you. And insurance is then regulated by the state, and they're fully adopting Obamacare. So it'll be tripled by the time they're done in 2015 nationwide. What's wrong with that? It will make you poor, and it will make you only be able to get a government job or a contract job through the government. And I think that's a great thing. Bankrupt everything. People will be so stupid they won't even know why it's happening. I'm being a little bit cynical here today, folks, because I'm just completely blown away. Completely blown away at just how they use almost like a sick form of hospitality. That be hospitable. The government is going to send bureaucrats to your house without even a fake reason, you know, with some stool pigeon dropping a dime on you for some made-up thing, yelling at your kids or whatever. And now we're going to send a government that couldn't run a lemonade stand to your house with a weirdo that wants a job going to people's houses and getting involved in their life to take your kid away from you under federal law globally to go ask what mommy and daddy are up to every week. I mean, the total body snatcher, 1984, over-the-top creepville, your Xbox watching you, your Kinect watching you, your computer watching you, and they admit it's watching you without warrants, illegally, just wall-to-wall corruption, police militarized, marching around everywhere, buying weapons, gearing up for war with us. And I'm just saying, holy Toledo, we better wake up and turn this around. I remember one time, this happened a couple times actually, I was telling a story about this, eating some food, thought it was bad, spit it out, everybody else got sick. I forgot when I was a little kid, we were at the beach. They're like, come on, eat the shrimp. I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. It's a very early memory. And they're going, come on, eat it. It's good. We bought it at the, down at the wharf, right off the boat. And I tasted it. It tasted weird. I didn't eat it, and everybody got sick from it. And I mean, I've just learned if you bite into something that tastes has a weird taste, don't eat it, And I guess I'm an extremist because that's discriminatory. Being able to discriminate. Like if you go to a store and you like a blue dress instead of a green dress, that's racist. The TSA now, if you don't want to be groped, they go, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Not wanting to be groped, having an opinion, having a view, not just being a blank slate. That's evil, that's illegal, that's bad. If you go up to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now, Justice Department says use of husband and wife is considered hate speech because they say it's insensitive and should not be used by Justice Department employees and other federal employees. And what is insensitive is hate speech. So see, here's the issue. This is not about inclusion. This is not about not discriminating. This is about pushing an agenda on the population. And I'm going to go to this report that one of our reporters filed and put together. And then I'm going to go over some of the articles to show you Europe that's about 3 to 5 years ahead of us on this front. And, of course, we covered just a few days ago, children's cartoons targeting people 5 to 10 are showing children how to be homosexual. They're showing them how to be cross-dressers. I mean, this is called pedophilia. I mean, if a heterosexual was trying to do that to children, it would be called pedophilia. But it's like, oh, let's be inclusive. See, how do they sell the sexualization of children? You know, I go out now and I see little girls dressed like whores. Like 6, 7-year-old girls dressed like whores. And shaking their rear ends, all of it. And that's not how little girls are really supposed to be. This is the destruction of their innocence, and it's a sick culture. And it came out a few years ago that MTV admitted they were targeting children and sexualizing them. MTV now is targeting people 11 and under. That's its main demographic. Look it up. And you've got Viacom and all these outfits pushing this to screw up children because they don't want real relationships being formed where you have an allegiance to your husband, to your wife, to your children, where you have that fealty, that human system. Aldous Huxley wrote in Brave New World in 1932. His brother was the top eugenicist in the world at the time. Julian Huxley, he became the head of the United Nations UNESCO program when it was founded in 1946, the year after the UN was set up. And he wrote in the book where there's no families, everyone's basically grown in laboratories for the lower and middle classes. There's only normal sex and normal behavior in these rural scientific command bases by the elites. And then he gave a speech in 62, months before his death, at Berkeley. You can pull it up online. It's over an hour long, saying, what I wrote in 32 is coming true because it's a real plan, and the public is already caught in it, so I will tell you it's real, and laughed at everyone. And he also wrote it in Brave New World Revisited. Punch that article back up. I want to show TV viewers this and talk about it for radio listeners. So they're saying gender-bending action hero, Shizo, to debut on Children's Network. And then they demonize Breitbart News, lashes out at television executives for promoting transgender themes to kids. How about trying to confuse kids? See, because on top of it, it's not enough to have the gay bomb. The last time I talked about the gay bomb, I think it was Rachel Maddow a year ago, came on air and said it wasn't real. But when you guys type in plan to use gay bomb on Iraqis, and they've got chemicals they can spray on men to, at a pheromone level, make a man smell another man and trick them that it's the smell of a woman, the scent of a woman. Okay? And again, even if you can't consciously smell a woman, you can smell them. Okay, and your brain's scanning, are they fertile, you know, do they have cancer markers? It's like, oh, it's a computer. They're scanning you as well. Well, they just there it is, U.S. military pondered love, not war, BBC, a gay bomb. Now, I get up here and say, don't drink out of the bisphenol A line juice boxes and milk boxes and the microwavable boxes that are lined in bisphenol A. It cooks it in to the food and is directly linked in major studies. I've been saying this for over a decade because the studies have been out for 15 years. to breast cancer increasing. This is a big part of it. Women are going into puberty at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. A few decades ago, it was, well, girls are going to puberty at 11 or 10 now. Now girls are going to puberty at age 3. They're having babies at age 8. And there's no discussion of why is this happening. It's the bisphenol A. It's all of it. And what did they say in Brave New World? We will bring you to puberty at age 8. You will die at age 25. If we even decide to use humanoid biomechanical robots. See, I'm crazy because I know too much. I'm crazy because I've read hundreds of white papers and hundreds of books written by these people. And listen, I'll hand it to them on this front. I'll hand it to the globalist on this front. The British and Dutch royalty about 160 years ago funded a plan to scientifically dumb down the population and bring in Malthusian plan to reduce population that was 100 years older than that, or about 70 years older than that. And then they funded the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute, but not before the Rockefeller Foundation, the Cold Springs Harbor. And then Hitler set up everything they'd been planning, but he went after certain groups instead of everyone. So they set him up. He believed it was his plan to do all this. He had a treaty with England. The King of England was a Nazi, lived in Germany most of the year. They double-crossed all them, double-crossed the Dutch royalty, had them flip back to the British, run across the channel, bring down Germany, bring down Europe, and then bring in the soft kill plan. And I was reminded by my guest about this yesterday, and I went and looked it back up last night. I want to do a piece on this, that the Germans were saying, we're going to go into these third world countries worldwide, and then through food and water and vaccines, we're going to sterilize people with systems they don't really notice and know how to deal with, and that's how we're going to get rid of everybody but the Aryans. Well, the Rothschilds and others said, no, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to get rid of everybody. And that is the program. They just, why not get rid of like 99% of everybody? And this is the global program. This is the global plan. And then you're like, hey, the juice box lining is making boys not go into puberty. It's making their sperm counts lower. It is shrinking the genitals of males, just like it does in studies on rats. And they go, oh, you don't like gay people, you bigot. Hey, man, I know the names of super gas nebulas, okay? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not impressed with two guys having sex with each other. It doesn't shock me. It's not some big deal to me. So don't try your little obsession, your perseveration over two men having sex with each other. I'm worried about breast cancer exploding. I'm worried about them changing the human condition and coming out with vaccines that go in and eat areas of the brain to remove your emotion and remove cerebral cortex connections to areas deeper in the brain associated with empathy and creativity. I want you to have a future. I want to have a future. I want us to have a future together. We are under total eugenics warfare. And even my InfoWars crew that are great people said we better review this, you know, if we get backlash for saying, hey, don't criticize having a man and woman, father and mother. Let's go ahead and go to this InfoWars Nightly News Report that we're premiering here on the radio. Here it is.
The New World Order seems to be trampling over our rights yet again. Between the latest DOJ memo that is telling managers they should support LGBT functions, to the Russians being approached by the European Council and being told that they should support gay pride parades, there seems to be a worldwide bullying campaign against our core family values. All of that in the guise of gay rights. Pushing the LGBT agenda is a New World Order global attack that has gone from tolerance to coercion. Starting right here in the United States, the LGBT community makes up for only 4% of the population. Keeping that in perspective, the latest directive from the DOJ reveals how out of balance our society has become. According to the DOJ Pride directive, silence means disapproval. And you shouldn't say husband or wife because It could offend the homosexuals in your office. It says, please use partner or significant other. So now husband and wife are offensive? Isn't this hate speech against heterosexuals? In London, they passed a law to remove husband and wife from official British documents, so don't be surprised if it happens in the United States. In France, they plan on removing mother and father from forms. Au revoir to mommy and daddy. It soon will be parent. What happened to the First Amendment liberties of the people who are straight and Christian? Now, not that I'm agreeing with Putin, but he does say, quote, how can they demand that we introduce their standards, or maybe we should demand they introduce our standards in their country? He's sticking to what 90% of the people want, which is to keep core family values. The hypocritical DOJ directive, LGBT Inclusion at Work, the 7 habits of highly effective managers, needs a directive of inclusion for whistleblowers. Since the DOJ is so hot and heavy to make sure everybody feels included, we need a directive for whistleblowers. How about this? If an employee comes into your office, shuts the door, and says, I've been meaning to tell you this for a while. I'm a whistleblower. Be supportive and thankful that they trusted you. Ask them if they had been made to feel safe in the workplace. Let them know about DOJ Whistleblower Pride. Go to prisonplanet.tv and sign up. You can share your username and password with up to 10 people. I'm Gigi Arnetta with an InfoWars Nightly News Alert.
All right, Gigi Arnetta with that, and there's more in the article by Gigi Arnetta at Infowars.com right now, and the video if you want to see all the articles and documents. Justice Department says use of husband and wife is considered hate speech because they say it's inconsiderate, and that itself is hate speech. So, and we're a few years behind Europe, but this is where this is going. They want to end the family and assign a government guardian that is called the parent. And that's just for the phase out of humans entirely. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?